We are live.
So welcome Emiliano and Mariana Canagisa to this wonderful workshop tonight. So I'm so looking forward to hearing what Emiliano's got to talk to us about, and he's going to play for us to begin with. So I wonder if you could just introduce yourself firstly, please.
Yes, good morning, everybody, or good evening in Australia. I'm very pleased to be at this Corona Summit. I already have an interview a few days ago with Marianne, and it was good to listen to what you are creating in this summit in order to improve the people, the rebirthing after this moment of changing completely the attitude and the things to do during the life. So I'm pleased to be here with my new life expression, that is to put together biology and music, something that I will talk about more later. And I will hope that my vibration, my sharing will be not an exhibition. I really hate exhibition, music exhibition, where there is one guy that plays something and other people that will judge if it's good, it's not good, it's sad or smile. This will be just sharing, so I will share what I am and what I do, and I hope that my vibration can be useful for the people that resonate with this vibration today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to start with one composition that is dedicated and inspired by my daughter Martina. That she's 9 years old, but she was 4 years old when I composed this music. And this was the second composition that I shared with the Dr. Bruce Lipton 7 years ago, 6 years ago. And Bruce Lipton told me that this music would be beneficial to the people worldwide. So my new mission would have been to share this music worldwide. For me, it was really a surprise because at that time I was a scientist, a biologist, so I never share my music to other people. But I was a bit start to dream at that time that maybe one day I will play that worldwide. And today I like to share this music that is called Yellow, like the color that is the favorite color of Martina.
That reminded me on summer, Emiliano, on summer and the rich flavor of yellow jasmine.
Ah, really? I like Jasmine. Mm.
Me too.
It was good because this morning I spent 3 hours before this workshop this morning together with my daughter. I have two daughters,
Mhm.
but Martina, she is now. We are still in the cage, so there is no school, and I have to take care about homeworks and studying. So I spent 3 hours this morning with Martina, and for me it was nice now to perceive, to feel Martina from another perspective, that is the music perspective, not the body perspective. Yes, it about. I like to just to share a few words about how now my two aspects of my life join myself in this soul. That is the aspect of the scientist that is still working on myself, and it is the curiosity why this music is so powerful to people and why it affects really different aspect of life. So the same composition like this is used from obstetrics, from during newborns, pregnancy, but the same composition is used also during life after life, so near death experience or people that are leaving the body, or sometimes is used for massages or yoga. It increase breathing, cardiac influence, the rhythm of cardiac rhythm, or some helps in some neurological issues like Alzheimer or Parkinson disease. So for me as a scientist, it's really important to understand the fine mechanism, because biology is quite now useful to go inside in the micrometers, so with the electronic microscope, to check in every cell what happened when the sound comes from the string, the impulse go to the body, and what happened in the cells. So this my half, my left half of myself. In the other part there is the composer part, that in the first 40 years of my life, these two parts were just neighbors. So not too much contact, because when I compose music, I shut off my scientist part. So it's not the time that I go in the laboratory to check which is the best chord to put here in order to increase the breathing, and other chord here. Is not like this. Someone imagine myself in the lab with all the laboratory technology to check which is the best music for the brain or for the legs. No, when I go to when there is composition, there is something happen really magical in my life. So I go like in another dimension. Maybe I'm speaking with my daughters, or I'm cleaning my floor, or I'm in the supermarket, or I'm walking in the street or in the woods. It does not matter, but something happening in myself that I have to run to my piano with my famous green pencil here. No, matita, come si dice?
I have the same.
Really? Okay, so I go with this and I start to write the first musical cell, so the first part, and then to increase day by day. That part go in myself in the brain, so I dream about this music. When I walk, there is this music. Sometimes I put another piece, then another piece, then another piece, and then okay, this is my book where I put my first sketches. then I have thousands of these. If I like that, then I put a smiling face after a few days. If I very like that, I put heart and heart. If it's normal, after a few days, 1 week, I put nothing. So after 2 years, every 2 years, because I need a lot of time to do a new CD, because I like to play on acoustic instrument tuned 432. So I really need to set up the recording in a very complicated way. So every 2 years I go here in my book and I check the best 10, 12 pieces, and I put that I saw the team, the project that link these pieces, because every time there is really a big project, like a vision that the first was about gratitude, the second about the childbirth, the third about the movement, the dance, and the fourth about love. So I find the link and I go with the new project. So I really think that these two parts, the scientific part is the part that take after. When I play this music, I saw effect and I like to check why there are this effect. And the first part is the musician that use the right part of the brain and shut off the scientist part, inspired by the family or by an emotion or by nature, some lot of time by nature. When I compose and when I play, there are birds, maybe sometimes also you hear outside birds, and I like to also to play with them. So if there is a piece and that play like this, but I heard birds, I just stop a bit, so the pause will be a bit longer, because I like also to express them. So yes, I like this part, and then I go again. The good to be a composer is that I can do what I like. I don't have to take care about Beethoven or Mozart souls. That sorry if I stop a bit because the birds. I'm the composer, so I have the license to stop a bit because of birds or horses or mosquitoes. I like to to welcome also the or cats, as you like. I have also sometimes cats that come in the room. They like to hear, then they don't like, they go outside again. So there is a place for everyone. My way to express is very simple, very familiar. So we are all at the same level, myself and the listeners, the people, the audience. We are in the feminine energy, so all at the same level in a circle. So it's a sharing. After I play, at the end, I don't like the clap hands normally, because I like to appreciate the silence after the last sound, and then I like to listen to the resonation of each individual audience, because after this information, like sounds that go to all the people, I imagine that everyone, like a glass of water, resonate in a different way to that sound. Ta, 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 ta. So I like to listen to the symphony of the audience. So at the end, everyone is in the same orchestra concert. And someone of the audience also go under the piano. I like people under the piano, that they can listen under the piano, and so they resonate in a different perspective. I like that everyone can perceive music from a different perspective.
And it's a lot about the resonating in the person. And as you said, we are like water. 70% is water, and the resonance is immense. When you started playing, instantly the cat started purring.
Really?
It's the red cat, Socrates. He likes your music very much, and he came before we started the workshop.
Socrates is welcome.
Yeah, he's sitting here next to me.
There is one. I remember last year I was in a workshop, live workshop, and there was a woman that asked me several times the weeks before if she can came to the workshop with the dog. And for me, at every concert I do, there is a dog, even if I don't ask to people to come with the dog. But every time there is one dog, there is one pregnancy woman, and one woman with a child, a small child already born. And then in the last concert, my last tournée, Love Seeds, that is about love, sometimes every 4 or 5, every month, there is a couple of people that meet during the concert and fall in love during the concert. So that is something, and then they update me also in the weeks after. So we are very good. We are near to marry. We are near to project a new life. I remember one concert in Pisa that there was a disabled man with a wheelchair, very nice man, and a lady that was a biologist, and they meet the evening just before the concert in the hall where I was having the dinner, and they meet there. And so it came to me and said, oh, I found a biologist, and that she was not really interested to your concert, but we talk a bit, and now she will come with me. So I saw them during the concert sitting near, and I asked also to do some experience about feeling the body, and also one couple experience, it's called the butterfly experience. And at the end of the concert he came and said, maybe we will see also next evening, and then he updated me that they put together, and they are still together after 1 year. And for me it's really touching, this feeling that a disabled man and a biologist, because biologists are per definition maybe the disabled people like me, so two disabled people meet together in the concert and fall in love and appreciate the vibration of love, and then they start this new percorso, come si dice, journey together, and they update me like maybe they will marry under the piano. They will be married under the piano. I'm dreaming about that. So I think that really everyone has a different perspective to listen to the music, and to fall in love with the music, and to appreciate the effect on the body, on the emotional part, and on the spiritual part. And the animals, I have a lot of feedback about animals like cats, horses. There is people that are using my music with horses. They use that as a connection tool. For example, when mother horse and the child, they are together, they listen to my music when they are together in the same cage, in the same place. And then when they have to separate them, that is really the worst part, they make them listen to my music again, and they feel still together even if they are separate. So music is a tool, is per definition also a tool of aggregation. Also the hormones that are set in our body when we listen to music are some hormones, like serotonin, for example, is a hormone called aggregation hormones. So music is per definition influence our civilization in terms of aggregation. I was thinking about cells in a big space, and when you put music, the cells try to contact themselves to form an organism. And we are the same. When there is a big concert, Bruce Springsteen concert, for example, there are, I go sometimes to that crowded concert where we are 20,000 people in the same stadium, and it's a sort of aggregation. So we are child, with old people, women, men, disabled, biologists, dogs. So it's a kind of aggregation, like magnetic aggregation music. And the same is used as a tool also in this a bit more clinical part, a tool of linking people, even linking the spiritual part. Some women told me that they use my music to link to their child that are no more in the world, so they leave the world, they are dead, and the only way they have to contact them to make the link also to the other side is music, like a bridge.
Yes. Music can always be a bridge. And I wanted to tell you that we have listeners from Kenya and from Thailand.
Oh, nice. So aggregation is really so.
Aggregation is there. And I just wondered if it would be possible to play from that CD you mentioned, Love Seeds.
Yeah, I do that.
I personally like the piece Love Seeds very much.
Mm. I'm not prepared for that, but I because this is not. Some of my pieces are still in this book. So with all the that I not understand very well, just first as
First
a
draft.
first draft. So most of them I copy for those seats in this new one for my concert.
Mm-hmm.
And one piece that I like, and I think it's also nice to play if you like now. It's called Occhi di Dio, so
Oh, this is my
God,
absolute favorite.
God eyes is called God eyes. For me, God that is also outside the religions is the orchestra director. And you see here, this is inside my LP, because for Losids I do also that. Inside there is the watercolors God eyes, that is from my mother Vilma. My mother Vilma translate every of my music into watercolors, and in this composition, I like to feel the power and also the perspective of who have in mind all the equilibrium from us inside ourselves with the microscope, but also the connection between ourselves and the cats and the animals, between ourselves and the nature, the ocean, the planets. So he has the telescope and the microscope. And in this composition, I like to share the intelligence of who create all this nice picture. Okay?
I understand.
Beautiful. that was just absolutely extraordinary. As you began to play, I felt myself in a forest, deep in the forest, and I was exploring as an adult, but also as a child. And as you were continuing to play, I realized the forest was the heart. So I was exploring in this uncharted forest of the heart. So it was just amazing. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh. Thank you to share that. There is I like that also you can experience music on the physical aspect or on the emotional aspect and on the spiritual part. Normally in my concert I start with some physical, a bit more physical composition like yellow about colors, and then this more spiritual composition I do at the end of the concert. But there is no rule, so I don't know why I I like to start with the spiritual part. And 80% of the composition that I did is not present in the sheet and in the record, so I just improvise. So I took your inspiration from you and from the people connected, Kenya people, and the other, and something new comes. I really enjoy also to expand my composition that normally are 2 3 minutes, even to 10 minutes, there is no time. I go in that world and I enjoy, and I come back. I don't know what happens. Totally. I never can do the same, but I enjoy. So thanks for your vibration about people connected, and because I really feel that is a bit a symphony. It's not just me and the piano, but some input sparkling that comes and inspire to go and to dance all together. Enjoy that.
I realized that it was near to the piece you have on the CD, but that there were parts added to it, and I really like that very much.
Mm.
For me, that piece resembled eternity.
Okay.
And it took me way off in a state of meditation.
Yes.
Barbara did right. It took her to a deeply meditative place, like absolutely floating experience. And it was the same for me.
I like every year I like um, to group people that in Italy are working at a professional level with my music. So I started this project 2 years ago, and because every day I I read feedbacks from not only from people that are enjoying this music, but they are using that at the professional level. And so I start to see like a psychologist, a yoga teacher, medical doctors, nurses, but also people that are working in agriculture, for example. They made that to the cultivation and tomatoes or olives, oil and wine. And so I was thinking to group all these people once per year to create an organism really with really different cells, because it's really emotioning and touching to see the medical doctor near to the agriculture people, the farmer, or near the holistic person, or near the spiritual person that use scenic rituals. So they are dressed completely in different ways. So the doctor is really like this, that see what happens here with the books, and to put everything so he likes the diploma and this and the yoga teacher comes with barefoot and in white. He likes to ask and to feel, and so the first day is really I saw that from the aerial perspective, so I saw all these movements. The doctors try to group together, and it's the same in the laboratory when they saw the cells, bone cells with heart cells, skin cells are very different one from the other, so they like to group to themselves. But then after 1, 2, 3 days, they really feel the power of diversity. Like an organism, we cannot live with a body of skin cells, only breathing cells. So the good of diversity is that you have to a bit improve your flexibility to listen to other languages, because other cells, like yoga teacher, another language, he like to touch, he like to come near me. But then what I learned from him is that I can explore my emotions. And so I saw that day by day, hour by hour, with the matrix of music, they can move, explore, and appreciate the diversity, each other. And this is also my intention, that in world, I think we are born with this intention, because our cells have this intention. It's proved by science. So every cell has to express himself, but also to recognize the biodiversity of the neighbors. So we are composed by cells, so we are directed by the same director. So I feel that the intention of each person is that. But if someone have this problem to switch on television and to see newspapers, it looks like completely different, because you see one against the other and killed and the child and suffering. So, but I feel that we are going to that variant. I don't know, to this. Different part, but then coming again to the inner intention, that is to recognize diversity and to recognize that together with diverse people we can learn and we can create an organism, not only a group of cells but an organism. And so this is the evolution of humans teach us about that. We start at single cells, then cells group, then each one specialize. So the biodiversity helps the organisms to the functions to be more elevate. Without judgment, I think the problem is always judgment. So when I play, I'm a bit worried about judgment. So if I'm worried as a medical doctor to be judged by a yoga teacher or someone different from me, because I am a medical doctor. So please, we are a step up. So this can be a problem for the yoga person, but also for the medical doctor. But if we feel this feminine energy, that we are all together, and music can help to that, because it's universal language, and I think we can again feel that together we can circle, we can integrate, we can exchange our knowledge and increase our human evolution for that.
Actually, we can increase a lot of wisdom in doing that. And somebody in the chat shared that your music took her instantly to a place of freedom, and that she experienced it to be very curing for her.
Yes, there is another piece of Love Seeds that I like very much, because yesterday evening I had the honor to welcome to my website a very special person that I was near to crying every time I was thinking about her. That is Gailin Lia. She's a violinist and a completely disabled person that I met 2 years ago in Canada when I had a conference that joined together spirituality, science, and art. And Gailin Lia came as a speaker in the wheelchair without legs, with a body really strange. And but she was a speaker, so a strange speaker, because we are speaker from every part worldwide, so Russian, American, so really strange. But she was different from us because of the wheelchair and this face, but she was always smiling. And so we go all together to listen to her speech, and she express in the speech the power of the feminine, the power of the feminine, the power of disabled ladies, and then after that the rights, also the rights of disabled people. So the respect that we should have from people that are different from us, because they cannot walk, for example. They need the wheelchair, so we need to improve the way to come them, welcome them. And then she took the violin, her violin. She's not able to play the violin just in the neck, because she's very suffering also in that part of the body. But she put the violin on the wheelchair, and she let us listen to the sound of her violin. But more than the sound, the intention she was playing the violin. Wow! And at that time, after a few seconds, everyone, we were 500 people, and everyone understand why Gailin came here on earth with that body, with that heart, with that soul, in that way that looks so sad, so suffering. So why she have to survive in this body? She has to survive and to live in that body with that smile, because she have to express that sound and that intention of the violin. And only her she have to do that. So it is also a kind of responsibility to express ourselves in our diverse way, but we are the song is called enrichment. We have to enrich with that simple, authentic way of that water drop. We have to enrich the ocean, because only ourselves we have the unique way to enrich the ocean. So I like, if you like, I can play this song that is called Enrichment. It's dedicated to Gailin, and it's dedicated to each one that like to express his or her talent, but he need to go beyond the judgment, because maybe think I'm too old, I'm a woman, I'm not good, I'm judged. So, but I have to express that. So I like you can feel this power to express our unique talent on this song.
That is an amazing piece. And you know, my little cat Socrates here, he is disabled.
Ah,
He has
yes,
very
I know.
poor eyesight. And when your song started, he took my hand
Ah, really?
and started purring again. He really likes it and he enjoyed it very much.
Good. I always feel also disabled in expression of music because I have a way really different from the normal musician. And so at the beginning the normal musician looks me a bit strange because of the tuning of the instrument that is not tuned in the normal way at 440, it's 432. But also the way I compose, I arrange for violin, cello, and flute, and the way I play with barefoot, and also not respecting the normal rules. And so I decide, I decide they are curious about that.
Emiliano, are you here? I guess we have a bit
And
of
they
an
ask
echo.
me about sharing that way. Yes, I like to share. And last year I decided. Sorry, because there was a phone call. Sorry. So about this musician that started to see me about the strange person, then they start to have curiosity, and so last year I decided to share my sheets, my music sheets. They asked me in Canada in the hospital, so at the end, for me was a bit again intense because first 6 years ago I have to share my music. That was the most intimate part. So about judgment, and then I have to share also my sheet. So knowing that someone can play my music, that is very good because I don't have to go to every hospital worldwide to play. I know that someone can play live. So the strings are vibrating in Canada, in Spain, in Austria, in England, in Italy. But I like to share that in a different way, not to sell music sheet or to download music sheet, but to organize one day per year when I can group a musician that like to have my music. They are in my room. I do that this special music box that contain my sheets, and my sheets I put in my sheets also the colors of the watercolor. So every sheet contain the emotion where you have to play, how you have to play this part. And I like to share to the musician how I compose, how I do that that music, why I do that. That is not to be the best musician worldwide or to use in film pictures or something like this, but just to share. Yes, I put in the box, I do a poems here in order they remember that day. And then I like to welcome them in my world in order to they feel my world and they know how to express this music with their instruments. And in the second part also, I let the people playing my piano tune at 432 because for some of them is a new experience. There was a guitar people that comes with the guitar, people that comes with harp, with cello, with voice. So there is no limit. And we try at the end, but musicians are a bit shy, so it was not easy. But we try to do something together in order to feel what happened when we go in this translational music world. And so this last year I had one person from Barcelona, Spain, one person from the south of Italy. It was nice, very different people, the very technical person that like to understand for each notes how you have to play, why the blue color, why the yellow color, and the other people that just like to drop in a dream and okay, I understand, it's beautiful, so I can express myself in si dice libero, in a new way.
Emiliano, there came a question in that is, are the other people playing in the frequency, in the tuning 432 as well, or do they stick to their 440?
No, we need to do that everyone at the same frequency. Otherwise, it's a mess. So everyone have to tune the instrument at 432. For the guitar, it's just 5 minutes. For the piano is 3 days working, but the piano is already there. And for other instruments like a flute, for example, the best is to build a new flute at 432 because brass instrument like trumpet or flute are built for constructed for 440. So in case you have to modulate the vibration with the lips. Yeah, so it's a bit more tricky, but we can do. There is a very good guys that play with myself with flute. It's a 440 flute. He made it longer and then modulate each interval with the lips. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But at that day, harps, guitar, cello, voice is normally tuned at 432, so there is no problem. But also, it's a new experience for everyone that play the instrument at 432.
I think so, yes. I just wondered whether there are any questions from the people out there. So if you have questions, please write them in the chat.
Just while we're waiting for that, sorry, Marianne, okay.
Yes, I just wanted you to explain the word translational.
Translational. Yes, translational music. When I decided to share my music when I was 40, and I decided to, as a dream, the best gift of my life would have been to share my music outside. I still don't believe about that because I was really crazy after a shower to think I have to share my music to other people because it was just a joke, a game for me, and nobody have to listen to that. But when I did that with the help of Dr. Bruce Lipton, that from the beginning understand that I have to do that and to join music and biology together. The first word that came to me was translational music. That translational music is a C cells, so cells as a C under a music sky. Okay, I like to express that with this movement. So a sea of cells under a music sky. And translational is also a word used in science to express the way you go from one level to another level. So I feel that translational music is a way to translate the cells vibration, so what I feel here on earth, on the floor, on my body, on the material part, there are some vibration coming up in the music that is to another level. Something we can understand, something not. As a scientist, I say I don't know what happened there, but there is some good effects that with this new vibration at a different level we can express other things in a more light way, in a lighter way. We can go outside, we can go to Kenya, to Canada, to Australia, we can go without slides, without PowerPoint, without too much words. We can go there in a universal language. And then I imagine that when music is there, she can go again down to the cells. Cells can perceive the effects and resonate to that music.
I understand.
So my question, Emiliano, was about you're talking about the sea of cells and the way in which they are connecting to the music, and I'm wondering about the subcellular structures. So, are there aspects of within the cell that are particularly resonating to music? This is a topic that I know nothing about. I'm very interested to hear.
Mm. Yes, it's beautiful to study the effect of music on our body. We can study at the clinical level, so just heartbeat or breathing or temperature. We can study that on the biochemical level, and there are several papers about that, more than 400 papers. So the biochemicals, the hormones, how the sound comes to our ears and then to the brain, and then brains modulate the chemical part of the body and send messengers like hormones to change the organ function. But now the beauty of this new part of biology, because there were two revolutions in biology when I was in the lab, is that the quantistic physics now meet biology. So we have quantic biology. So we can understand how the vibration, the impulse coming from the string of the piano comes in the ears and then comes directly on the body without the filter of the brain. So coming to the body, you see that in water, cymatic. I don't know if you are familiar with cymatics. I work with John Stuart Reid, that is the inventor of a cymascope. He is a physicist in England. And if you put a drop of water under the microscope, you see in the microscope how the water translates the sound into geometry. Sure. Like my mother, that she translates my music into water colors, but this is more scientific. So each sound, each frequency is information, and this information you can express with geometry. And when this information comes to the cells, and there are several beautiful studies from Professor Carlo Ventura in Bologna, for example, you see the cells with the cytoskeleton, microtubes of the cells, then start as a texture to vibrate, and this vibration is like a butterfly vibration, resonate to the frequency of the music that comes in the cells. So there are two new aspect of this science of resonation of cells with music and with sound. The first is that now we can prove scientifically that when a sound comes to a cells, the cells can resonate, the cell resonate with the microtubes, the cytoskeleton, with that sound. So you can see to the electron microscope that can sound. And then the second aspect is that if you put a microphone in a cells, it's called atomic microphone. You go in the cells, you can listen to the cell sounds. So every cell has a sound, and the beauty is that you can also recognize a sound from healthy cells and a sound from weak cells, ill cells, and you can recognize also the sound of a dead cells. Are three different sounds, and the sound from skin cells, and the sound of my skin cells and your skin cells are different. So we can recognize the way that the cells have to communicate each other with sounds. And also another beauty is that those sounds are in the frequency that we can hear by ears. So it's not a completely other frequency. We have just to increase the volume. So there are several science fields that are no more border science, is community accepted science by the scientific community. And Professor Carlo Ventura is one of the most famous worldwide about teaching and understanding. He is a cardiologist, and he teaches at the University of Bologna. and work about the resonation of cells when they hear sound, but also about the sounds expressed by cells. And also he's working about the fact that one ill cells, like Alzheimer cells, differentiated cells, hearing sound can differentiate in healthy cells. This will be maybe in 10 years, but something that already happened. And let me just telling that in the laboratory, when I was in the laboratory 15 years ago, I worked with staminal cells, embryonic cells, so not different totipotent cells. I put totipotent cells on the microscope. I put biochemical nutrients at that cells in order to let them differentiate in heart cells. And I saw the cells beating inside under the microscope. This was really beautiful because I was thinking about the chemical nutrient teach to the cells you are in the heart. So please differentiate.
Yeah.
But what is beautiful is that now you can do that with sound. So no chemicals. You put the totipotent cell on the microscope. You put sound, no chemicals, and the cells understand that she is in the heart. So for me, it's really a revolution in science because I was always thinking about biochemicals, biological effects, something that you can measure, you can convalidate, you can see, but the sound you cannot see. And thinking about that cells can understand by sound that she is a heart cells and have to differentiate, for me, it's really interesting as a scientist.
That's incredible. Cool. Look, I absolutely love what you're talking about, this sort of cytoskeleton, and I have this image in my mind of like a huge harp that's all three-dimensional, and all of these strings are vibrating. And I don't know if that's realistic science, but that's the image that I'm getting from you. And so the opportunity for sound, for vibration to be occurring in that cytoskeleton is just awesome. That's amazing. And I'm thinking in terms of the kind of communication that occurs between, say, a mother and like a baby in the womb, in the uterus, and you've got all of this type of sound-based communication going on, vibrational communication. It's a wonderful world that you're exploring and existing in there, Emiliano. It's just absolutely amazing. And I, not meaning to distract from what you're doing, but I have the sense that light is doing the same thing. So the frequency of light is actually doing the same sort of thing. But I know that's another whole story.
No, it's the same. The same experiments from Professor Carlo Ventura start with light, because if you put cells in a dark incubator, you can see the communication between cells also in terms of light. So how cells accept light, light comes in, and light is a signal. So the cells, this also, I don't know if you know another biologist that is called Rupert Sheldrake. It's another very strange biologist that I met a few years ago, and he is studying morphogenetic fields. So how cells from the brain can communicate with the cells of the feet without going through the body. How a child can communicate with his mother without touching. So how we can prove that a mother and a child in the two different places of the world can feel themselves. So I feel, Neil, that you touch a very interesting thing that I have in mind, that people by intuition can already understand from 1,000 years what happens in our body, what can create well-being, what music create in our body. So we don't need, it looks like we don't need science to prove that. But for 1,000 years ago, humans knows that music is created for healing with this kind of instrument. So they use drums to heal, not to enjoy. So music starts with that. Then we forget about that for a lot of years. But the good is that by intuition, all people worldwide understand the power of music as an important tool for their lives. There was no civilization on earth that no use music. So in every part of the history, in every part of the world, humans decide to take with them music. In particular, in the times of burning or death, in the most difficult part, when they don't understand very well what happened there or they feel not comfortable. So by intuition, we know everything. So we know to our cytoskeleton with our cells that something occurs very good and how we have to listen. This music is good, this is not good. I don't know why, but it's not good for me. Today, yes, tomorrow not. Mozart is better than Beethoven for me, for another is the opposite. But the good is that in the last 5 years, 10 years, science demonstrate this part. So we are supported by technology, because it's important also the technology evolution. We are supported with technology to demonstrate and to validate the effect of the music on our body, on our cells. So we go on cells, inside the cells, to see the effect of the sound in our cells. And this, I think, can also make more comfortable the people that need the left part of the brain, because otherwise, I don't. Please let me know if today I have to listen to Mozart or Beethoven or Emiliano or Cat or there are a lot of people that ask me, please tell me which CD I have to buy for my headache. I have to know that, and how long I have to listen to that, in which part of my house. I have to tell you one thing. In 2015 I did this CD called Wing Printing that is done for childbirth. So there is honeymoon effect, conception, and childbirth, voice of the art. So everything concerned the conception and the childbirth, the pregnancy. So this CD started to be shared to people that had a problem with conception, and some people likes to send me feedback. I start to listen to this music, and then we have a child, and then when the child was born, he recognized the music. So beautiful. I was like a father of a lot of people worldwide, and I saw in the concert those child. But the nice part was that a lot of couples comes to me and ask me the instruction how to use that during the conception. If before or during or if Okay, so this was nice. I also someone asked me to come there in the room with the piano live in order to see if it was more effective during the concert.
People are interesting. Emiliano, we have a question that is: do you also improvise with other musicians together?
Yes, I start to improvise with voice. My second CD is quite intense. It's a bit alcoholic CD, completely different from the other. It's called Secret Garden, no, Enchanted Garden, and this with a singer. And in 2014 we go in that space, and she starts singing, and I start to play, or the opposite. Sometimes I do that with cello or with flute or with violin or alone with people. Or I improvise with a dancer. I like to translate dancer movement into music. So she starts in silence to move, and I start watching her. I start to play, and then together we join dance and music. And sometimes my mother also in the same time she do the watercolor, so it is like a dance between dance, music, and the painting. And it's
That's
good because
interesting.
painting influence music, that influence dance, that influence music, that influence painting, and we go in different expression, but in the same texture, in the same matrix.
Yeah, it's entanglement.
Entanglement, yes, right.
Very interesting.
Mm.
Vediamo un po'.
Maybe this is the time for another piece of music.
Okay, good. So another piece. Yes, fammi vedere un po' qua. Let me check again. Ah, yes, I like this. This piece is called Moon.
Mm.
It's dedicated really to feminine energy. I don't know if I don't remember, Marianne, which piece I play in the last interview because I don't have memory. If this Moon was played, maybe not.
Could be, but I'm not sure. I have to admit I'm not sure about that.
Okay, but in case I will do a completely different
Version of it.
interpretation. So it's dedicated to this Corona Summit interpretation. No. I have in mind another piece now. Sorry, I like to change that. I like to do a piece from Danza della Vita, life's dance, because of this movement that is called forgiveness, perdono. So in the life, in the dance of life, I interpreted a different kind of movements. It's about movements that is the new secret of life. So there is the movement of peace that I played, I remember, the movement of feminine, the movement of the flower that growing up, the movement of forgiveness. So this is a movement, and I ask people to feel this movement, to experience this movement inside, because with forgiveness we have the possibility to fly a bit higher, to take out our weight, because sometimes without forgiveness we cannot fly too much higher. We are always stay in that part, and we put energy in something that make us lower. So I ask the people during this music to feel the music inside, and to feel the music helping us to take out weight and to fly higher. Okay. This is the watercolor of forgiveness.
Oh, nice. Very nice. I'd love to hear from the other people's experiences, but I was instantly taken back to my parents. I was sitting on the table with them. Instantly, the very moment you started.
Yes, normally this composition is made by piano and cello. I like cello also together with piano because cello for me is the sound of heart. So when I play the piano and cello comes, it's like a wind, like a breathing that brings my heart and helps me to go deeper in that love world. And so about forgiveness, I think in some most of the time, in order to forgive, we need love, really intense love to be perceived, and gratitude inside us in order to open heart and forgive the person or forgive a situation or animal or a or illness or and but I saw in my laboratories normally people that after sometimes after such composition start crying for several minutes or go in the ground or really feel like to be more freedom from something that finally they were able to take out. And when I composed that was I remember a Sunday where my daughter Chiara welcomed um, her former boyfriend, a boyfriend that they were 5 years ago. Remember that kind of boyfriends that you have in the lower schools. And that it was called Roberto. And after several years that they were not more staying together, and that Sunday they were together in my house, and I saw them with child as a child mood, so they don't kiss or they never do something like adults, no, men and women. So really the cleaning of the child, the innocence of the child, of two childs that explore together, remember that time and go over other times. So I remember that after watching them, this composition came, and for me was really the sound needed for the people to forgive.
That's interesting. The feeling I had was whilst it's very simple to forgive, it's also very complicated. So the feeling I had was all of the complications that were involved in actually being able to forgive yourself and then to forgive another person in that interaction. And so, like, I know it's a simple thing to do, we just forgive, but it's complicated as well.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
complicated.
children are, for me, are the best teacher. Nature is one of our best teachers. Cells are another best teacher. So for me, school would have been very different from what we have now. That there are really teacher adults that told you what you have to do, what you don't have to do, rules, times. Because if you go outside with the trees, birds, the sun, the rhythm of the seasons, and you explore yourself with the microscope, you understand a lot. And children already knows everything. I know with my daughters, sometimes I tried with several hours to teach them what they have to do, but they know what they have to do. They don't need me to do how to dress, how to run, how to eat, how to recognize what they like. Everything they already do. So I say no. Now I have to listen them, not to teach them.
It's a different aspect, yes. Emiliano, when somebody wants to attend a workshop of yours or wants to listen to your music, what options do you have?
So I have a website where there is my music, CDs. I think the best way to listen to my music is live. So you can come to my piano, under my piano, near, you can touch. So I like to be inside the people, not separate from them. So the best is that, but not always is possible. So the second option is to listen to the CDs. In my CDs, I put all the love that I have with my music. So I put all the watercolors, a big books inside with a picture where I recorded my mother, my family, and so CDs is, I know that not everybody have now the reader, but it's good for the sound and also for the rituals. Even better about the ritual is the LP. Love Seeds I decided last year to do also with LP vinyl records, and in that kind you really have the ritual to clean and to put the disc in the recorder. So I remember now the music you can hear 20 seconds from one song, 30 seconds from another. You have everything on Spotify, Amazon. You can listen to everything, and you don't have the care and the value of music to sit on your favorite sofa, favorite place, clean the disc and put the disc from the beginning to the end. So to do the journey together with the composer, because that journey was think about that from the beginning to the end. So Love Seeds starts with my drums and finish with the sound of dolphins, and in the middle there is the heartbeat. So for me it's important starting from the drum and then all the composition, the ta 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 ta. But I know that young people likes more fluid music. So you can find my music also on Spotify, on YouTube, all this kind. That is like water, can go everywhere in each part of the world. And sometimes I know that they are listening to my music in Bolivia or in Russia or in Greenland or in America. This is also good, as they have less information because the music is compressed. There is not the ritual, but you can listen to that worldwide, I think, as a first idea on that platforms. And about laboratories, you can find my events on my website. So mainly in Italy, but also sometimes I am in Austria or Vienna or Spain, Tenerife, Canada, UK. So when I will be able to go outside again, it's nice. Sometimes I am in a garden, sometimes on a lake, sometimes in a cavern, sometimes in the hospital, sometimes in a theater. I enjoy in the woods. It's beautiful to play piano in the woods because there's a particular acoustic. So I enjoy different perspective. In the hospital is different. It's not so nice as in the woods, but it's nutrient for me from the people that teach me how life is important to appreciate every instant of our life. So my website is www.emilianotoso.com.
Yes, we have linked this under this video.
Okay.
Anyway,
Thank you.
so that people can find you, and we transported the links into the chat so that people can see it everywhere.
Good. Thank you, Marianne and Neil, to take care also about my possibility to continue this journey, because I don't have a main sponsor or Sony or this kind. Everything is done here in this house by my family. So if someone buy my CD, my parents put the CD in the loops and send by postal code, and so everything is done in the family. It's a family farm, music farm.
Well, it's fabulous. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And, it's absolutely incredible what you're doing, Emiliano. So thank you.
Thank you, Neil and Marianne. And also thank you to invite me to your conference. I hope that your job and your way to help people in this important historic period would be useful.
We hope
Thank
so
you.
too, and we hope to meet you in person one time, or at least online again sooner or later.
Good, of course. In Greece or in Australia, I would like to come, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Shall we close it that way, or shall we close it with a piece of music? What do you think, Emiliano?
Yes. I can close with a piece, a short piece that is called Second Me. Means you are with myself. And I composed that when I was in an island, alone, without any laptop, mobile, no parents, no children, no one. So isolated in the island, Capri Island, also by the sea. And I start a bit sad, and then I walk a lot, and I meet a flower, and looks like the flower told me, I am with you. And the cloud, I am with you. And the sky, I am with you. And the people, I am with you. And the earth, I am with you. And also the thoughts, I am with you. So I was feeling as connected to everyone, and also myself part of everyone, even I was isolated. So this piece maybe is good also for this coronavirus, where anyone is in the cage, in the house, and we can feel connected by ourselves. Good. We can close with this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne, and thank you, Neil, and thank you everybody that connected to this circle today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish you a nice day. Bye.
Bye.